Okay. Everyone hear me?
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. This Wheatfield Town Board meeting of February 8th, 2021 is being held remotely and by electronic video conference via the Zoom video conference service due to the COVID-19 emergency situation. On March 13th, 2020, Governor Cuomo issued Executive Order number 202.1 in an effort to address the conflict between the requirements of the open meeting law and the governor's emergency orders limiting public gatherings. Specifically, Executive Order 202.1 suspends Article 7 of the Public Officers Law, also known as the Open Meetings Law, to the extent necessary to permit any public body to meet and take such actions as authorized by law without allowing the public to be physically present at the meeting. The order also authorizes public bodies to meet remotely by conference call or other similar service. If the public body restricts access to its meetings or conducts a meeting remotely by conference call or such similar service, the public body must provide the public the ability to view or listen to such meetings and must record and later transcribe such proceedings. This meeting is being conducted pursuant to said orders. Public comment periods shall be suspended for this meeting as it is not required by law and there is no scheduled public hearing. And it is also technically difficult based on the circumstances. The town will accept questions, comments, and input via email and or regular mail and will be answered directly by the appropriate town personnel as soon as possible. Regular town meeting format in person with public comment will return as soon as conditions resolve.
Thank you, Matt. I will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Kathy, you would lead the prayer, please?
Heavenly Father, we pray thee to grant wisdom to all who are in authority, that order and justice may be upheld to the benefit of all citizens, and guide us to better serve the people of our community, restraining those who seek to destroy our government. We ask your divine wisdom to rest upon our leaders to guide them and protect them. Amen.
Thank you, Kathy. For the record, all board members are present. Approval of the minutes, January 25th, 2021. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried, minutes approved. Approval of bill payment for February 8th. Voucher number 2021-0001 through voucher 202-10094 with a total amount of $153,059.22. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
I have a motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. We'll move right on to departments. Dave, do you have a report tonight, our Niagara County legislator?
I'm sorry?
Did you have a report tonight? I think you said you wanted to mention something.
Oh, yes, they do. Thank you very much. Real quick, just an update on our broadband project. I know everybody's been getting calls, especially out in the rural areas, because people are working from home, losing their jobs because they can't connect, and kids trying to do homework. Just want everybody to know that the project that the Niagara Orleans Regional Alliance has had going for several years, we still are working with the federal government. Unfortunately, the governor recently pulled the money that he had allocated for broadband into a study. Well, we already know where people don't have it. Anyway, we had a very nice call with the USDA this past week. The funding, the $7 billion that the federal government has allocated for broadband, looks like the USDA is going to have close to $1 billion for that. That distribution will happen, they're saying right now, probably late April, maybe early May. We will be applying for a 100% grant, require a 5% match, our project for both counties to literally give broadband, high-speed, affordable, reliable broadband to every home in the two counties is about 10 million for both counties. So we're still working on that. Everybody want them to know that we're going to keep going until we get the funding we need. It's just going to take a matter of time. the last thing I'd just like to again remind all of our veterans out there that if you're going to file for a veteran's exemption, especially our disabled veterans, they are due on March 1st. This will be for the next tax year, but don't miss that window because they've got to be into your town hall, do your assessor or assessor's clerk to put in for your veteran exceptions for next year. So that's all I had. If you had any questions.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate it. Anybody have any questions for Dave? Thank you, Dave. Let's go to Paul Siegman. Paul, do you have anything for us tonight? Paul?
Sorry, I was having a little technical difficulty there.
Okay.
I actually did have a question for Dave. Has he heard anything about the essential workers I had talked to you about? You know, for getting the shots.
Oh, from the highway?
Yes.
Yes. I have not heard that, although I know that both Chairman Whittish and others here in our district have again and again on the call with the governor have asked, you know, why are not taking care of basically one of our early responders that have to keep our roads clear and safe. So that question continues to be put forth to the governor, but nothing yet.
You know,
Thanks,
I'm a little
Dave.
surprised, Dave, that, you know, that these guys are essential workers. And if they weren't vaccinated, I mean, if they couldn't plow snow, we'd have some problems. It'd be throughout the towns, all of the towns.
What really is annoying to me is transportation happens to be in 1B. Well, that's public transportation. You're not going to take a bus out on the highway, let alone a fire apparatus or
Sure.
ambulance without your plows and your salters are going out there first. So
Yeah.
you're right, Don, they are certainly an essential worker, but we're not going to give up on it. Chairman Whittish continues to raise that issue.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else, Paul?
Just a reminder, I don't know how many people are going to hear this, but please get your vehicles off the road at night when my trucks are plowing. We're pretty lenient because the winter was easy, but now we're getting into some snow months and I need the cars taken off the roads at the end at nighttime.
Paul, did you happen to call Bob? If not, I will.
Yeah, I can call him. I talked to Rob this morning and he was going to let
Okay.
Bob know, but
Okay.
I did leave a year-end report for 2020 in all your mailboxes. I don't know if you want me to go through reading that off or if you just want to read it yourselves. And
You know, I think, Paul, if we could read it ourselves, I'm actually going to put portions of that in our newsletter that's going out too. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
we will be getting our new roller, which should be getting delivered in the next week or two.
Thank you, Paul. Anything
Paul,
else?
what are the hours for parking that you're not allowed to park?
2 a.m. to 6 a.m.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Paul?
No, that's it.
Thank you, Paul. Richie Donner.
Just to reiterate what Paul was saying there, the essential workers, it's great that, you know, get the highway done. Got to consider water and sewer. Everybody's staying home. If the sewers start backing up and we don't have
Sure.
people to go out and take care of the issues, there's going to be a lot of unhappy people at home, especially now that they're getting stuck there. So, you know, I'd like to get my guys vaccinated also, but, you know, we're all falling into the same boat here.
I know. And just so you know that I have reached out to our Senate and to Ange Morinello's office also to see what they could do. And they were going to get back to me. And of course, I've heard nothing yet to make sure these people get vaccinated. Okay.
That's all I have. I have nothing else.
All right, Rich, thank you. Anybody have anything for Rich at all? Mike Rinaldi.
Good evening. Can you hear me all?
I can hear you. Mike, can you turn it up just a tad?
It's a little jittery, Mike.
Okay. How about now?
Anybody have, I can't hear Mike. Anybody else?
It's a
No, I
little weak,
can't
Mike.
hear him.
It's
How about now?
Nope.
Breaking up, Mike. Nothing.
And now I can't hear anything.
I can hear Tim.
Yeah, you started to come in there. Go ahead, speak again, Mike, please.
I can start over. Last Monday, we started baseball, softball registrations. And
You know, Mike, I hate to say it, Mike.
we decided to use the website.
Maybe he should try to call in.
Yeah, Mike, we can't
Mike,
hear
you may have to
Mike.
try to call in on a phone.
The residents responded really well.
I don't know.
Yeah, Mike, we're gonna have to pass on you for a while. We'll keep moving, and if you want to phone in, that would be great, but right now we can't hear you. It's coming in really garbled, Mike. Sorry about that. Let's go to Mike Clark. Mike, I didn't forget you this time.
Good, thank you. As far as news, we did receive we took a delivery of our wide format scanner a couple weeks ago. We put it into work. Lou's been back there doing the initial, trial, I guess, and it's been working out really well. We're moving right through it, and we're excited about it, having it available, and hopefully we'll get this. It's going to take a while. The mountain of stuff that has to be scanned, and I know Kelly, he's got stuff that has to go in there too. So, but we're getting there. We've got it. It's the first step, and we're working hard at it.
I went downstairs today, Mike, and I saw Lou using the machine. It's great. It's great to see it.
It's pretty cool. So we're excited about it, and thank you again, board, for helping us get that. Something that was definitely needed to help us with archiving. We're not getting rid of stuff. We're trying to. Every day we're taking other permits in and applications, and we need ways to file this. We're just running out of room. And Kathy runs through the same problem with her archiving. Kelly's similar. So this is going to make a world of a difference.
Well, and it's also helped out very well to the planning board too, since we've been remote. They've had some of the sketch plans and site plans that they've been able to scan and email to the board. So it's saved people time and enabled them to view the site plans. So it's great.
It's pretty handy. It's pretty handy stuff. So
hey, Mike, this is Larry. Have you talked to Links Technology about files and folders and where you're going to store this on the network so that we do this up front now?
Yep,
so
we did. In fact, that was part of the problem at the beginning of it, was coordinating Links along with Andrew from Toshiba. But we did get, Nick did come in, set up folders and files for us. So we're ready to roll. Stuff that's going in, we have established folders for it. And so each street's going to have its own file, and it's been working out pretty good that way. Good. So we're getting our second round of training this week too. But other than that, and so along with that, and we talked about the department head meeting this morning, that we're going to create an excess of documents that we no longer have to store. So we're looking at, Kelly and I have brought this to Don's attention this morning, was we would like to invest in a standalone type of a shredder instead of having a company come in and drop off totes and charge us for delivery. We did find something that was online here that we're going to invest in. The overall price is $974, which equates to 3 trips from the outside vendor. So this thing here will probably last us a whole lot longer, and it'll handle the problems with after we scan, what do we do with our documents? So,
Mike, while I have you on here, if the board heard Mike talking about a scanner at $900 and some dollars, Kelly and Mike will split it in their budgets that they have now. So they have the money for the shredder, and it's better than paying an outside firm to come in and shred all these plans, because as you know, they're huge plans, and we can get a shredder for a little over $900. So what I'd like to do is put it to a motion tonight, if we could, to allow the building and assessor's office to purchase the shredder for shredding the plans rather than sending it out to an outside firm. So we can put it to a motion now if you'd like, Mike, while you're on. Anybody? I'd like to make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion, a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. So that'll be something that you'll split between the two offices as far as
Yes.
the cost goes.
Thank you.
And it's a good investment also.
Very much so.
Thank you,
Thank you
Mike.
again.
Anything else, Mike?
That's it for today.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
Kelly, our assessor, what do you got? Kelly? She's muted.
I'm trying to unmute. Sorry about that.
There you go.
I just want to thank you for letting us get that shredder because I already have like 8 boxes filled with paperwork that I could start shredding. In the back closet, there's 30 totes back there, and technically for the archives, I only need 3, but I can't just throw it out or recycle. So I got to start shredding all that stuff. So that's going to like alleviate a ton of room in the basement so far, just me cleaning up my office.
Sure.
The scanner's working perfectly. I was familiar with something like that in the past town, so I made perfect use of it to help Jamie with the planning board that first night. So, yeah, so thank you for all of that. Other than that, in my office, I really have nothing, just doing exemptions. And, it's coming up on March 1st, taxable status date. So, it's kind of crunch time right now in my office.
Okay. Kelly, thank you. Anything else, Kelly?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, good. Thank you, Kelly.
Yep.
Let's see. We got Tim Zuber. Oh, by the way, can I interrupt for a second? I'm sorry, Mike, how many new homes did we have last year?
That's a
Mike
good
Clark?
question. I had a count last week and I don't remember if it was 34 or 35,
All right, I'm
somewhere
trying to
in that
get,
range.
I'm trying to get the newsletter together. So if you would
Right.
give me those numbers tomorrow, I'd appreciate
I
it.
can, as soon as I get in tomorrow morning, I'll punch them out.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Yep.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, I forgot.
All right, Tim.
Not
You're up.
a problem. We only have one thing on our engineering agenda tonight, and that is recommendation for final acceptance for phase 2 of the Brookfield subdivision. We have a few conditions in our letter from February 4th. A couple of them are based on just really seasonal requirements, planning on the aquatic bench and hydroseeding to stabilize the site, which we put timeframes in there to happen by May 15th, May 31st. A couple other conditions that we had in there based on the developer coordinating with National Grid for the lighting districts and the light poles and removing some other utility lines. He's been working hard at that. It's just kind of at the mercy of National Grid getting back to him and giving him the final action and direction. So we put those in as conditions as well.
And Tim, just not to interrupt, but I did again. I did talk with Paul Siegman, our highway superintendent. He's good with the go ahead and the approve it. And I talked to Matt today. He's been working with Angelo and their company. And I believe, Matt, you're good to go also? Yes. So anyway, I just want to let you know that Paul is well aware of this. And Matt has been working with them regarding the lighting district. And so we should be pretty much set to go tonight. And go ahead, Tim, if you want to continue. I just want to let everybody know that this is something we've been working on.
Yeah, I was just going to add that our one last minute thing that we were waiting for were the maintenance bonds, and we did get those this afternoon.
Good.
So it's all set for the board's consideration. So we do have
Okay.
motions in the packet for that. So unless there's any questions.
Okay, I'd like to make the motion. We'll approve the space as recommended by our attorney and by our highway superintendent. Can I have a second, please?
I think, Don, we have that in the motion package, if you want me to read the.
Okay, I didn't see it in the motion package. I just saw it as separate as a Wendell issue. That's why I brought it up now.
I thought we did, don't we, Tim?
Yeah, no, we always give those motions to be in with the rest of them in the packet.
Okay.
So
Oh, okay. I didn't see it in mine. I'm sorry about that. All right,
we'll
we
let
can-
Matt read through them all. No.
Okay, sounds good. We'll do it then. All right, who we have? Is Tom Contact on tonight? He's not, is he?
No.
He asked if he had a report on the war memorial, if he could speak. Obviously, he doesn't have a report tonight. Let's go right to Matt with motions. Now we'll do our motions. How's that, guys?
Good.
Sorry about that.
Okay, yeah, we have those motions we talked about. So the first one Tim discussed, it's from when. I'll read it. Motion to accept the completed PIP improvements for the pavement and curbs, water line, sanitary sewer, and storm sewer for phase 2 of the Brookfield subdivision with the following conditions. Number one, the lighting district has not yet been finalized and the 2 light standards for phase 2 have not yet been installed. However, the developer has been working diligently on these items, but completion of the task is dependent upon action from National Grid. The developer must continue working on these items and complete as soon as possible. No final certificates of occupancy will be issued until the lighting district is established. The required light standards must be installed as soon as possible thereafter. Number two, the developer must complete the removal of the abandoned utility poles and any abandoned wires, transformers that remain along the southern side of lots 82 and 84, or 82 through 84. It is understood again that removal of these items is dependent upon action from National Grid. The developer must continue working on these removals and complete them as soon as possible. No temporary certificates of occupancy will be issued for any houses built on lots 82 to 80 through 84 until the poles or wires are removed. Number three, the developer must reach out to the design engineer to provide an acceptable planting plan for the aquatic bench of the recently constructed retention pond number 2. The developer must install the plantings by May 31st, 2021. Number four, per the SPDES general permit for stormwater discharges from construction activity, GP 0-20-001, all disturbed areas of the site must be stabilized. All currently disturbed areas must be hydro-seeded with hydromulch as soon as the spring weather breaks and the snow has melted, but no later than May 15th, 2021. The developer and their attorney will be responsible for the filing of the right-of-way, road dedication, and all easements, and must provide the town attorney with a filed copy of these documents prior to the issuance of any new building permits for phase 2 lots. Number 6, in accordance with the conditions placed by the town board on the final approval for this subdivision in 2008, the developer must advise potential property owners in contract of sale agreements that the developer will likely experience some overhead air traffic due to its proximity to the airport. The town will consider any violation of this condition to be a violation of the town's disclosure law. Number 7, the developer must advise potential property owners of lots 36 through 41 in contract of sale agreements that the construction of drainage improvements, retention ponds for future phases of the subdivision will include disturbance on the sides of their property. Number 8, deed restrictions must be placed on lots 36 through 41, making it clear that individual culverts, bridges across the creek, the Brent Road tributary to Bergholz Creek are not allowed.
Thank you. I made the motion before and I will make it again. Second, please.
I'll second.
A motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Go ahead, Matt.
Okay, next motion again from Wendell on the same issue. A motion to accept the easements and road dedication associated with phase 2 of the Brookfield subdivision.
You want a separate motion on that, Matt? I'm sorry.
Yes, we need a motion. I've reviewed these and Tim has too, and they
Okay.
are appropriate.
Okay. A motion, please. I'll make the motion. Have a second, please. I have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, next motion, I will read the preamble because it's lengthy. It's from motion from the town supervisor, town board, and town attorney. Whereas the town of Wheatfield regulates land use through the various sections of the code of the town of Wheatfield. And whereas the town of Wheatfield does have regulations for the installation of ground-mounted solar panels and solar arrays farms. And whereas the town of Wheatfield and Wendell engineers have observed changes in the solar industry and the laws regulating solar installations and begun reviewing various possible amendments to the existing regulations to address these issues and uses. And whereas the town needs time to revise and update these regulations, and with Wendell engineers are recommending that the town of Wheatfield adopt a moratorium while these codes are being developed, revised, and updated. And where the town has introduced a proposed local law intended amendment to the code of the town of Wheatfield, placing a 6-month moratorium on ground-mounted solar panels and solar farm installations with the town, and presented a copy to each member of the board, and a public hearing was held on January 25th, 2021. And whereas the town board of the town of Wheatfield, New York would like to adopt a local law entitled Amendment to the Town Code code of the town of Wheatfield, placing a 6-month moratorium on ground mounted solar farm installations within the town as follows. And the text of the law is in the agenda already. So that's as presented.
I have a motion, please.
So move.
Second. I have a motion to second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. Well, I'll bring this up as far as the members of the solar committee when it comes to my report, okay?
Okay, and I have no further motions.
All right, thank you, Matt. Okay, let's go to board members. Larry?
In this month's, I don't know if it's a monthly or a quarterly magazine we get from the Association of Towns. I think it's quarterly. There was information in there on COVID-19 FEMA Public Assistance Program. And I think Matt Brooks has already received some funding for some things that he purchased. But they said, and costs incurred as of September 15th, 2020, and they list about 8 or 9 items that you can get reimbursed for, including, you know, personal protective equipment, face masks, disinfectant in facilities, like if we had to buy extra disinfectant or fogging devices, which we did, acquisition and installation of temporary physical barriers like the plexiglass and plastic we put in, law enforcement and security, if we had constables having the, you know, ask questions of people approaching or coming into the building, stopping people from coming into the building if they weren't properly masked, and that if we had any training or technical assistance, reimbursement for overtime costs. I don't know if we had any, but during part of this process, our employees were getting paid full time, 40 hours, and only working 20 hours. So who's going to manage the reimbursement of all this? I don't know who to throw the question out to.
Well, it's a good question, but you also have to remember we did submit a grant through Connie
Okay.
for reimbursement. And that was including all of the things we just included, including wages. Anything that we purchased was submitted on a grant to New York State. So we have a grant pending for reimbursement of the money that we have spent. That's already been submitted, Larry.
Okay, I'll make a scanned copy of this document and I'll send it over to Connie then.
Okay, great.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Larry. Gil, is Gil on?
I'm on.
Bill's-
Gil, have anything tonight?
I've got some correspondence from Adams Fire Hall. They'd like to add Michael T. Doctor to their roster and remove Kelsey Darren. And I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Randy second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Anything else, Gil?
That's all I have.
Thank you, Gil. Kurt, what do you have for us tonight?
Wheatfield Enhancement Volunteers meeting tomorrow night, 6:30. We're going to do another Zoom session. A couple people who are on the call here who I want to throw a quick thank you to. First being Mike Rinaldi. Mike had agreed to help with the maintenance of our corner once we get our sign project completed, hopefully later this year. So Mike, thank you for that. Mike also provided an area that he has available for our group to store some of our inventory of beautification items and other things that we're starting to accumulate. So thanks again, Mike. Also, Tim Zuber. Tim Zuber has leaned in and started helping us with some of our plans that we're gathering that will need to be submitted to the Niagara County Department of Transportation, which has been extremely helpful. And Tim has pulled in some other members from the Wendell team to kind of help out those that are experts on the permitting process. So Tim, thank you so much for your support on that. As we are getting closer this year to getting a little bit more serious into moving towards the execution part of the project, I want to provide a more robust update to this team. So I'm not sure if it's going to be next month or hopefully by the latest April, but I'd like to at least put the bug out there that I'd like to put a short presentation together and working together with Rita, one of our leaders, and just kind of let you know where we're at and as the project is getting closer to being finalized. And we hope to have some final costs together as well. So more to come, hopefully in the coming weeks and months.
Thank you, Kurt. Anything else, Kurt?
That's all.
Thank you, Kurt. Randy?
One quick thing on the Brookfield motion that Tim had. I think it's very important that item number 6 with the airplanes with the runway, because we don't want people coming in here and then, you know, we know where they stand and they bitch. So I think that's a very good thing, and I don't know if you do it on all of them or if you have, but I know they're talking to Shawnee. There's some early stages there. That's going to be even worse. That's directly in line with the runway.
Right.
But hopefully those planes are flying for a lot of years here. And it's nothing like it used to be back 40 years ago when the F-101s were flying, but I think they were 101s, Don, but those were a little bit louder than those planes we got now. But nevertheless, I think the point is that it's a good thing. Make sure they know, buyer beware.
And you know, that's a good point, Matt, and it's a great point. Matt, would you make sure we follow up with that to make sure that either a deed restriction or that people are aware that there is jets that's in an area proximate to the airport. So if we could make sure we follow that up, I'd be greatly appreciated, Matt.
Understood.
This is Tim. The board actually made that a condition of their original approval of that subdivision back in 2008. And that was a condition of the acceptance of phase 1 improvements, the houses that were along Ward Road. And it's a condition of this phase, and it's going to be for the remaining phases in the subdivision. And yeah, we'll make sure that anything else that comes on that's in that flight path will have that same type of condition.
But is that done via deed restriction, Tim, so that they're aware when they?
Well, I guess what it was agreed to when Brookfield was first done is it's a document that they have to sign during closing, right, Matt? Is that how that wording is? You have to advise the potential property owners in their contracts of sale. If there's
it's supposed to be in the contracts of sale. Yes.
Okay.
I guess
let's make sure we
to the purchaser.
Okay, let's just make sure we follow it up though. Okay.
Hey, yes. And I saw Tony Barone the other day. I haven't seen him in years. Graduated with him. He's not looking real great just walking, but I thanked him for that deal that we had over on. Well, Mike would know the street across from Adams Fire Hall. Remember, we always got the emails about the cleanup. What's the name of that street there, Mike?
The Aiden Estates subdivision.
Yeah, Aiden Estates.
Yeah, so I thank Tony for cleaning it up, and I haven't heard nothing from that guy in a while. So I guess
Selena Court.
That's the one. Yeah. So I thanked him for doing his part. He said, "Yeah, I cleaned it up." So hopefully everything's good.
Okay. Anything else, Randy?
That's it.
Okay. I have one item I'd like to get a motion on tonight. As you know, we were contacted, this has been over the last few months, from Atlas Renewables, looking at possibly putting a solar farm on our old Whitmer Road dump. And what I'm asking for is just a motion for me to sign an acknowledgement form. It's not an approval or anything like that, but it's giving them to do a feasibility study as to the potential putting a solar farm on Whitmer Road dump. So if I can have a motion to sign the community or the standard acknowledgement form, I'd appreciate it. And Matt has already looked at it and he's good with it, but felt we should do a motion.
Yes.
So if I can have a motion, please.
I'll second Don's motion on the question. Does anything in our moratorium preclude us from doing this now?
No, we are exempt as a government agency.
Correct. The government-sponsored government agency solar is exempt from the moratorium. That we made that a specific exemption.
Right. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. The other item that I had tonight, I know we have a solar committee, which Drew is going to head up. And I had some names, and I have Walt Garrow, Mike Schaefer, Corey Wilson, Joe Gargas, and Randy Retzloff. Is there anybody else on there that we are missing that you can think of?
Did you mention Joe Malloy?
I didn't talk to Joe. These are the names that have asked to be on the committee. And that's we already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Mike, Drew. I mean, I don't know how many members you want to put on there. I want to make sure it's a functional committee too.
Yeah.
And as you know, Corey Wilson is an electrical engineer and would like to be involved, and he volunteered to be on this committee also. If you want, I will call Joe Malloy and put another one on there, but I want to turn this information over to Tim Zuber tomorrow when I talk with him, so we can get started on the necessary changes. That's okay with you guys?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so we have a pretty wide variety of people on this committee. If anybody has anybody else, but I'll give Joe Malloy a call too, Larry, if you'd like.
Thank you.
Okay. And I know Mike Rinaldi, is he still on there? Mike, can you speak now or not?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Loud and clear?
I can hear you loud and clear right now.
It's good now, Mike.
All right, how many?
Oh,
one of the things I wanted to bring up, Mike, was that our community center will be open again. I met with Mike when I came back from being sick, is that the community center will open up again for meetings, of course, following restrictions and guidelines because of COVID. And we've also discussed keeping our youth center closed for the present time. And as we all know, COVID has not gone away. I think New York State has kind of backed off because of potential lawsuits. And I can speak for myself. I just got done with COVID. So I know that the COVID is everywhere. And Kathy, you can say the same thing. So the youth center is going to remain closed for the time being, and we will monitor it. And I hope everybody's good with that, but I think it's the right thing to do for now. And Mike, is there anything else you wanted to add tonight related to registrations and things?
Well, in terms of the youth center, like, I do plan on hosting a summer camp.
I can't hear him, guys. Can you? Sorry, Mike. But I'll kind of speak for Mike. I'm sorry, and I don't mean to do this, but we can't hear him. I know he is taking registrations for summer activities, which we have to do, and let's hope that COVID goes away sooner than later, and go forth. And Mike, I'm sorry we can't hear you tonight, but I know Mike is preparing for summer activities and registrations. So I think we're good to go there. And Mike, I hope I'm speaking well for you. But so yeah, we're going forth with our recreation programs. Let's see if I have anything else. And Tim, I will talk to you tomorrow related to the solar committee and give you the contact information for Drew, and we'll go forth with that. And let's see. Also, I will talk to the board members about setting up a meeting with Paul Sigmund next week one day. If anybody has a preference for a better day to meet than another, please get a hold of me tomorrow. But we have some issues to discuss, cul-de-sacs, some other issues that we should talk about. So if you have any preference as far as when we can meet next week, let me know. That's all I have. Our next meeting is February 22nd, 2021 at 7 o'clock at the Wheatfield Town Hall. And, I see that Tom Contact is on. Tom, do you have anything for us tonight, or? You're muted, Tom.
Okay. Yes, I do.
Okay.
And thank you for calling on me. I have two items I'd like to speak to. I want to continue at the board meetings whenever possible to make some facts available to the board in regards to what is going on with the memorial. Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about our efforts with moving the tank. The tank has been very, very challenging. We have had 4 cancellations by our rigger. Outside of that, I did start to look around in the Niagara County and Erie County area for a secondary source for somebody who had either more time on their hands or was able to respond more on a quicker side. And for various reasons that I won't list, there is nobody available. And the only other one that was available has a sum of money that they want to move the tank, which is way too high for any of us. So Don, I would ask, on a previous conversation that you and I had, you offered to get together with me on a phone call to our rigger.
Mhm.
And if I could get a meeting together with you sometime this week when you're available, because I'm
Okay.
sure I have more time. I would like to sit down with you and do a three-way with the owner of the rigging company.
Okay.
And then the second thing I'd like to speak to is, in general, memorial information. I suspect that everybody on the town board has my phone number or can get it readily. I would ask the board to please don't be afraid to call me and ask about anything that is going on with the memorial. I would rather speak to you one-on-one or however you want it to be, and give you the facts about what we're doing and what we're handling at the time, rather than having any information get out that is not correct. So I extend that to the board. Please call on any questions. And that's all I have.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I believe that's it. Is anybody that did not have a chance to speak tonight? I think we're good. Our next meeting will be February 22nd. And I'd like a motion to adjourn.
I'll second your motion.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, we are
Aye.
adjourned. Stay healthy, stay safe, and Mike Rinaldi, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you.